Hello, everybody. Welcome to Edessa, the Dark Crusade, Season 2. As we are coming back as Garnet after a long, like an hour or so, riding on his horse. Not Hades, unfortunately. Hades he's unfortunately gone from this world. Ares, no, the large red horse. The war horse, as Garnet likes to call him, irony's sake. Thundering across, he stops outside his special place away from his stables. He attaches Ares to the side and walks in, passing through the various bits of his harem, the various people he likes to partake from. It's always nice to partake from these things. However, it is not that he is interested in tonight as his ghoul Lena slides in beside him, ever his shadow. He walks upstairs to close to his room, his own private room, the smile widening on his face as he opens the door, and lying on the bed is his sister. A stake clear to her chest, but Olena had stripped her and dressed her back into nice, warm, comforting clothes. It was a bit awkward with the stake. However, she managed. As the stake flies out of Mina's chest, her senses ablaze. Everything seems to rocket. She looks around and sees satin sheets, comfort, the sound of humming and music, and laughing from downstairs. And at the corner of the large four-poster bed is a figure that, well, she recognizes and she's known all her life, large and looming like a mantis leaning against one of the wooden palacettes, smiling. Sister of mine.
Oh. Oh dear. Timing. Aha.
Clicked the wrong button, exited the wrong window.
It was the sister of mine. Was there anything to follow that?
No, just a heavenly appearance for a smile. So heavenly. I would describe the fact as one of the very like the smiles when you first met him, all those years ago.
And truth be told, for the sake of having it established, Mina has not been completely unaware, just unable to move, unable to react, unable to so much as blink, really. So she has been perhaps peripherally aware of where she is, conversations that happen around her, but since being brought back has been for the most part abandoned besides Olena redressing her. And even that was probably more distracting due to the pain of being moved about, particularly with the broken ankle, the sprained shoulder, the brands, the, gaping hole in her chest, albeit it had a stake in it at the time. But in the end, when finally it is plucked free and her barely mobile body is hers again, she won't hesitate to first bring a very shaky hand up to kind of cover over the gaping hole, very carefully, not prodding into it, just kind of splaying open over it, and looking over to her brother, who looks almost too happy.
Oh, darling, what have they done with you?
I don't know.
Oh, Mina. So broken now. Did they bind you?
Again, the movements are kind of thoughtless almost, and they're definitely a little shaky because she is in a bad way at the moment. But she does lift an arm up, and depending on the sleeve of whatever she's been dressed in, whether it falls back or not, is whether or not the pretty stark, vicious branding of chains around her wrists will be visible.
Oh,
That she stares at.
oh, I don't mean the shackles. Did they bind you?
I don't know.
Oh, my darling.
I don't think they could.
No, I suspect they didn't, did they?
She reaches up, very gingerly, kind of rubbing at the side of her head.
It doesn't matter anymore, does it?
I don't hear anyone.
Oh, well, that's good, darling. And how does it feel to be the fool? My little sister.
That's about where her eyes fall offside. Blatantly. Just outright humiliated. She's not able to really put on a facade at this point. She doesn't offer an answer, though. She just looks
Walks over
astray.
very calmly, smiling, but he's circling. The silhouette of him almost seems to pass as the satin sheets come down, and then she sees him on the left side, right where she is. Head peering around again like a mantis circling its prey. His green eyes seem to sparkle ever so slightly, and a darkened edge to them.
There's a bit of a squirm, not voluntary, but the kind of reflexive, like shifting one does as if preparing to do something. What she's going to do is really anyone's guess because she can't do much. Period. But there's still nonetheless some slight shifting. Her one good foot kind of shifts to where it's, actually foot down on top of the mattress.
See, this cute act of rebellion, it was so endearing to see. And yet so... What's the word I'm looking for? Boring. I watched you feign and fawn, even insult me at one point. And now look at you. So pathetically helpless.
And she continues to kind of studiously keep her eyes just off him. It is the weirdest in between of not wanting to look at him directly, but not wanting to let him outside of her peripheral vision.
And now you won't even look at me. Man who negotiated your release, you won't even give him the courtesy of a stare. It's funny how you show gratitude, Mina darling. I might almost be insulted.
Then she kind of anxiously plucks at the sheet on her that has, been pulled up just short of, again, the gaping wound. It's not polite to stare.
Oh, my poor little Yasmina. Tell me, zoom, as he goes right into her face, almost supernaturally fast.
There's a flinch and then another wince of pain because that hurt.
Are you frightened now, Mina?
Shouldn't I be?
I don't know. Should you be? Should you be finally frightened Now, when you understand that your little act of rebellion has served nothing but be a pawn to others, is this what you were taught? Is this what you were given to use, Mina?
No.
I'm sorry, what? I didn't quite hear you.
And there's periodically going to be a bit of a wheezing sound as she really struggles to get breath enough, just for the sake of putting the words out. It's a nasty noise and probably accompanied by gurgling since she's got an open chest cavity. No.
No, but yet you still did it. Then proceeded to make difficult things for our clan, things from me. But it's no matter. He'll stand up again, suddenly calm and smiling, although his voice then went deadly serious. But it's no matter. You see, I always know how to adapt to things, particularly troublesome, predictable things. In fact, this has been the most amusing game watching as you give me opportunity after opportunity. What to do with you, Mina? Now Gregory has to pay another large debt to the Cappadocians. Banned from their domain. And now Apollo has to take the reins. With a little help from me, of course.
The eyes finally flicker over to him, measuringly.
Did you not think that I would have to oversee your exploits? Did you not think I'd be there always to make sure that you were negotiated the right way? See, I don't care about Malkav supposedly coming. I don't care, Mina. What I care about is how you failed everything. Everything that we were taught. Everything I taught you.
Had to.
Oh, I know you did, sweetheart. And walk over very slowly and touch her cheek. I know you did. But that doesn't matter now, does it? Because I could bind you again. I could do it quite easily and you never would be able to stop me. I could kill you right now. Licks his lips almost hungrily.
She tried her best to stay braced when he touched her cheek, but at that point, yeah, she'll shift her face to the other side of the pillow.
Look at me. Don't you dare move away from me again. Yeah, there's such an unexpected snarl from his voice. It's almost as if the devil is speaking.
She complies.
Good. So much better when you look at me. For I've been nice now. I've been so good to you. So sweet and caring. And I know what you had to do. But that doesn't excuse you now, does it?
She stares, admittedly. She doesn't want to, but she puts whatever little tiny bit of will she's got back into it. Why do you care?
Oh, because we have to make things right now, don't we? We have to make sure that the chaos does always spread, as she will see out of the corner of his eye a red undercurrent forms right under the lower eyelid and slides down his cheek as he just calmly reaches up with a tissue from his robe and just wipes it away.
She is pretty flagrantly unnerved. The tension ramps up a little bit more.
We have to make sure that the things we see and the things we do spread. For now I have brought an alliance, the likes of which our clan has not seen in a long time. And I don't want any loose ends. We're playing away the strings. You can understand that, can't you? Again, such a heavenly smile that transitioned from this deep primal snarl.
Very quiet, very tiny nod. Trying really hard, but if he's got his hand still out there, she's not going to be able to help brushing it, but trying so hard to be just short of it.
And now that Apollo has taken such interest in you, my little Yasmina, well, you are going to help me with such a wondrous gift, aren't you?
Yes.
Because I'll take care of you. I'll feed you and wash you and let you heal. And of course, Apollo, who is, if Gregory is too busy paying his boon, if he's taking mentorship, well, then who would he turn to, if not his proxy, who can speak for him? And I will teach you all that you need to know. And then when the time is right, we're going to give Apollo a lovely gift, you and I. And you're going to give me Bella on a silver platter.
Another anxious but very small nod.
He towers over again, leaning down like a mantis. Like at any second, all he has to do is just bite into that neck and drink and drink.
To say she looks uncomfortable would be something of an understatement. She's still kind of cringed in. The working arm and working leg are pulled in a bit.
Now, I'm not going to shackle you. No. I don't need to, do I? I don't need to enforce anything on you, do I? Because you understand. Because if you want to survive, who do you know is the real power behind this clan?
You are.
Good. And do you want to be the person who will eventually become the true power? The true face of this clan, in favor or disfavor?
In favor.
Good. So you're going to do what I ask?
Again, it is very anxious, very small, very rapid little nod.
Wonderful. Because there will be no boons. There will be no bonds. But an understanding. An understanding, Mina. I make no promises, nor do I expect you to. But deep down you will know what will happen if you displease me. Don't you?
Yes, brother.
Good, sister. Very good. I'm so happy you understand. Now, come here. He opens up his arms. Come sit on your brother's lap. Let me take care of you. Again, such a heavenly, caring smile.
I assume he's sat himself on the bed to where he's fairly close. because
Mm-hmm.
otherwise this is going to be a very long, drawn out process. And yeah, it is.
Actually, no. He is across the room, Katie. It
Is
is
he?
meant to. It's meant to
Hasn't
make
he
a
been
point.
right next to the bed the whole time?
Mm-hmm. And I said he got up and then leaned back and walked.
God damn it.
It's meant to make a point. You even get. I'm going to give you this for free. It is meant to make a statement. He just spreads his arm out. Now come here.
And she doesn't miss the point. Not by a long shot. She glances over at him, looks at the distance between them, obviously measuring it, and begins very slowly, very painfully to sit herself up, which in itself is something of a trial, considering how battered she is. And yeah, she will take the time, and it will be a hot minute, particularly when she manages to get herself, scooted over to the edge of the bed. And there's obviously her taking a great deal of time weighing just how battered she is versus the distance between herself and the floor. She will go so far, if he doesn't move, as to reach over and take the pillows from the bed, pitch them onto the floor next to it, literally make herself something of a cushion to land on as she kind of slinks, wincing, hissing, probably whimpering on impact with the floor.
He does not move. In fact, he stares at you, not smiling, not like this, like ha 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 ha, evil cackle. No, he creepily just stares at you and begins to hum. I'll put what he's humming in the description for you.
Please do. Then yeah, she slowly, very painfully, probably even having to pause a couple times because let's face it, she doesn't have willpower to throw into it. There'll be a couple points, particularly after she's gone from the bed to the floor, where she has to pause, she has to take a moment, she has to kind of gather her conviction. And then yeah, she literally crawls across the floor, one tiny inch at a time, because she has one good leg and one good arm and a hole in her chest to account for. But after a long period of time, thankfully not leaving streaks of blood because she needs everything in her system that she can possibly keep in there, she will slowly work her way over. If he's
You
down on the floor, she will go so far as to pull herself, hoist herself very painfully into her slab.
when she does, he stops humming and stares at you. As Elena, you hear a whistle then as Elena opens the door and kind of takes a second to stare at this sight. And he'll say very calmly, Elena, darling, fetch some of the blood from the others. Armina needs a drink. 2 from each should do fine, shouldn't it, darling? You look down at Mina with a smile. Again, such a heavenly smile.
It is such a weak nod, and yeah, she curls herself up. She'll hoist herself up enough to get like really properly curled against his chest so she can lean on him because it hurts.
And you just hear it. You won't hear the nod, but you assume she's nodding. You hear the steps as she closes the door, and you'll look down at Mina. You see, if you had refused or given me such a reply that's so brash and rebellious, I would have killed you. Do you know why?
I know you would.
Do you know why?
There's another pause and a like one of those sick rattling breaths. Because we have an understanding.
Oh. Strokes her hair. So young. What we know is we explore the limits of our pain and the degradation we are capable of. Because we are already damned, little Mina. Nothing is forbidden for us. You gave everything just to make sure you could live, just to make sure you would get that opportunity to get the thing you want, wouldn't you? And
Another piteous little nod.
he leans in quite again. You know what? I'm going to make a point of rolling this. I'll just make a. This is more manipulation than charisma, so I'll just very calmly roll it here and dice roll it once. It's probably going to be the only roll of the scene. This is intimidation. With 3 successes, he'd say, you turn in, and if I asked you to kill in this state, if you meant surviving, wouldn't you?
Let's be fair, she's already scared and already in pain. She probably actually has her eyes well up as she nods again, very, very small.
Oh, don't cry. You take out the tissue and wipe away her blood so softly. Don't cry, Mina. Tears are wasteful, especially now.
There's a less than dignified kind of snuffle, but she just kind of goes lax in his arm if he's supporting her at all.
He'll haul her up very gently and place her down on the bed very tenderly, very carefully. It's almost as if she's a porcelain doll. Now, think on what I've just said. Think on everything you want. Think of all the desires and the madness you share, the things you feel, the voices you hear. And imagine them all with you instead of against you. Imagine you as everything you need to be. For when you're already in fed, you're going to make someone afraid as you are now. And you're going to see what it feels like. You're going to see how far they go. And maybe then we'll finally learn what Yasmina is truly capable of. Won't we, sister?
Of course, brother.
As the door opens, then Elena walks in with 2 goblets. And she will place them down on the table and then walk back out and come back in immediately and take another goblet and place it down. And she'll nod at Garnet, planting a kiss on his cheek as he roughs the top of her hair. She walks back out again, very cold, very detached, not looking at Mina at all, as if she's nothing. Closes the door. Garnet lifts the goblets and places them against Mina's lips. Drink.
This at least she doesn't need encouragement on. The faintest scent of blood is about enough to do it. And she does.
She'll get back at least, feeding from the herd, Jesus. She will get back up at least 8 blood points. Actually, no. What's your hunger score again?
She is at... God damn it. She was left at... Her hunger score is like, she's good at 4. In theory,
Okay.
she was left at 5 when she was stayed.
You get 8 blood points. So you can spend 5 of that to heal a point.
Yep, she will hungrily, almost over eagerly, though she is trying to be careful of spillage, take the lot, every drop he gives her, and will, almost immediately spend first to take the edge off that point of lethal, and then 5 more to begin healing the gaping hole in her chest.
Who branded you? You say with a smile. Was it the Merchant of Bones?
No. came after I woke up.
Oh, poor little thing.
I think it was her.
I see. We'll talk about more. We'll talk about her later, darling. After I get in that head of yours. But not tonight.
I tell you.
Tonight, you'll tell me. I know you will. You'll stroke her cheek. Oh, I know you will. But tonight I want to make something abundantly clear. When I'm done with you, when I'm done helping you, and when I'm done teaching you, then we will fix this clan. Bella will come into our fold, and Gregory, well, he owes me so much already. And Apollo will learn once you begin your lessons, and when the lesson goes and he trances away like he always does. Mina, such a terrible thing to waste.
She again nods more strongly, more firmly.
Because otherwise... Poor mother. She was always ready to lose another child.
There's a perplexed glance flicked up his way.
That stare, Katie, is one of the most intense stares you've ever seen Garnet give. As he reaches down, taking a sip and a swish of the blood in his mouth, from the goblet, obviously, human blood, and plants a very intense kiss on Mina's lip.
And while she will not make any attempt to bite him during, he will probably feel like the brush of the fangs just because she is hungry, almost perpetually hungry at this point to get enough to heal. But she absolutely accepts it dotingly.
But then suddenly her head is wrenched back almost violently, and he locks her right in the eyes. The blood drips down from his mouth. Again, the human blood.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't obey me, if you do anything to hinder this change, I'll kill you. And the funny thing is, Mina, darling, I'm not afraid of what happens afterwards.
She doesn't go so far as to cry, but her eyes do well again. There's just the rim of it around the edge of her eyes.
But it won't come to that, will it? As that innocent, so heavenly smile appears.
Why would you be afraid?
But exactly. He stands up and pats her cheek. See, chaos is something I'm all well too familiar with. And the madness within is something that even Apollo doesn't know that I've mastered far greater than he has. Think on that, Mina. Food for thought. And because he's Garnet, what is the emotion for fear again? The set of emotions again?
There really isn't one. That's the thing that makes it so stupid.
I'm trying to target like that in general block, essentially.
Oh, give me 1 second to try to find something remotely close. Because they very specifically don't fucking include it. Because they hate me.
Because I don't want to do the other one.
You page. All right, give me 1 second.
Scores. That's not many dice.
I'd say the closest thing you could hit was like Black Bile and its melancholy. So it would probably be more sadness than fear, but I'll include it just because fuck it. It'll definitely put her in a negative state.
Fuck me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turns. And remember, this is what you chose. This is what you wanted. Boom.
And how long is Jesus?
I'm checking.
4 is a week.
Mm-hmm.
And as he initially was talking, she was wiping the blood from her own chin, licking her fingers clean, though she's not stupid enough to completely look away. So yeah, she even looks up as he whirls on her, makes that eye contact, and it hits her like a sack of bricks. She almost immediately just shrinks. It's not what I wanted.
He keeps walking. I know. Did you just hear the door close?
And truth be told, she doesn't have much energy for pitching a fit, for doing anything exceptional. The best she can probably do is, if any of the goblets have been left, is to smack them off the table. Not that there's anything in them to spill out at this point. Not as thorough as she's been. It's just a light clatter. And probably immediately followed by kind of an audible, pained wince. And she nests down into the blankets, into the pillows, and proceeds to become a piteous little ball of, well, self-pity.
And she can still hear the humming of Garnet, of that song he keeps humming as he's walking down, and you can hear him join the party downstairs.
No. Well then, shall I call it there?
Yes.
So we will say thank you, players, for playing and watchers for watching. We will see you next time on Nope. In
Nope.
Edessa, the Dark Crusade.